Hey everybody, let's make sure that we've got our volume up and that we're really listening while we're doing this, so that we have a learning where we're learning this. And you're probably going to need a highlighter. Okay. All right, as usual, the left side is the most missed from your test. So let's go ahead and get started on this. It says the expression 4 raised to the x power represents the number of bacteria in a petri dish after x hours. Which statement is true? Well, first thing that we've got to realize, and again, I apologize, my thumb is kind of messed up, so I'm going to try to read. With an exponential, and that's an exponential, the form is a parentheses b raised to the x power. So if I put this here, notice the a is missing, and when the a is missing, that is an understood 1. So the correct answer is B. There was 1 bacterium in the petri dish, because A represents the initial value. So if I could get you to just draw an arrow here and write initial value. Okay. Okay, now just a little something over here. Instead of multiple choice, you're actually going to write what the initial value is in all of these cases. Okay, remember, initial value is out here. It is not the number that's raised to the x. The number that's raised to the x is the factor. That is not the initial value. The initial value is this number here. Okay. All right, the second one. Okay, the expression 10 after x days. So we've got another one just like it. Which statement is true? So again, let's remember what these little guys are all about. Initial amount, and this is my factor, and we need to remember that factor is what you multiply by with exponential multiplying by. Okay, now what I want you to do is I want you to realize that when it says increasing by 4, that means you're adding 4 each time, and that is linear. That is linear. Okay. For this would be like y equals 4x, and we could come up with whatever initial amount. We could put plus 10. But y'all, that right there, notice this is linear. That right there tells you you are adding 4 each time. It's going to increase by 4. Whereas when you have an exponential, you are multiplying here. Okay? So I'll do another one. Increases by 10 means you are adding 10, and when a pattern is adding, that is linear, and that would be your slope, so that would be 10x, and then whatever your y-intercept might be. So right there is where you're adding 10. Now when you're multiplying, okay, multiplying, that's where you've got an exponential, and that factor is telling you you're multiplying. Same here, we're exponential, the pattern is multiplying. So these would be your exponentials. All right. Okay, on the right hand side, you are actually you've got to find which one of these are increasing by 2 and which ones are being multiplied by 2. Thank you so much. And which ones are being multiplied by 2 based on the types of equations. So you're just going to pop the letters against the corresponding equations here. So it's matching the letters with the equations. All right. Okay. All right. Most missed. The reason why I believe this was the most missed, I think folks typically skip over the words. And what you didn't realize is there's two functions being compared here. So let's write that. We've got an f of x that is being compared to a g of x. Notice it says to the function g of x shown in the graph. We are comparing two functions. So let's write that at the top. Comparing two functions. Okay. Comparing two functions. So now let's see what they're talking about. Well, if you read, it continues to talk about the x-intercepts here. So we're comparing the x-intercepts. So I need to find the x-intercepts for the function g of x, which is a graph, and I need to find the x-intercept for f of x, which is an equation. So if you go back to your yellow foldable, finding the x-intercept is pretty simple on a graph. It's just where the line crosses the x-axis. So for g of x, the x-intercept is -4. And now we're going to do this the long way. For f of x, if you remember, if I'm looking for the x-intercept, I let y be 0. So let's write let y equals 0. That's how we're going to find the x-intercept. So 0 is over here, equals x plus 12. And now I need to solve for x by subtracting 12 on both sides. So I find out my x-intercept is -12 for the f of x. So now if you read, it keeps talking about smaller, smaller, smaller. Well, which one of these numbers is smaller? It's this one. So f of x has the smaller x-intercept, and that is -12. So f of x has the smaller x-intercept, and there it is, -12, 0. Now you could check the other one, but it's the wrong intercept. So the correct answer is A. So I think, like I said, the mistake is that you didn't realize you're actually comparing two functions here. Okay? All right. And last but not least, okay, after x years can be determined using this function, what does the 1.05 mean? Okay? So remember that when it's written as one number there, that's going to be your b. Your b is 1.05, and that is your factor. However, if you break it out to 1 plus 0.05, that is your rate. And the rate is where these percentages are coming from. So what we do is we do the rate times 100%, and that's how we get the percent on it. So in my calculator, I'm going to do 0.05 times 100%, and it's going to give me 5%. So the rate is telling me the total amount in the account increases by 5% each year. Okay? Now I've gone a little step further here for us to fill out some stuff. Notice each answer is given as a percent. This is the rate. So I've broken it down for you. Here is your 1.05. If you cover up and just take this part, that's your rate. Multiply by 100 and you get a 5% increase. And remember, the 1.05 is your growth factor, okay? So you have to do the same thing here, and then you're going to fill in the blanks for it here, okay? And let's turn over on the very back of the entire packet, and let's write ho, 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 Merry Christmas. And you all have a great day.